One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. What would you say to folks who listen to this podcast, Zach, or to those out in the industry who go, yeah, look, the common way to the athletic director chair, at least recently, maybe is not through marketing or communications or external relations unless I'm raising money. Is there a need to be filled by NACMA, or is there a track that needs to address that more? What are your general feelings on that?
Yeah, certainly I think there are a number of people that have gotten to the athletics director chair because of their background in fundraising. That will always be a need. I believe there are more backgrounds out there that lend themselves well to being a leader in college athletics, and I think that a lot of those folks certainly don't have the same mentors that maybe someone who grows up in the fundraising part of our industry and moves their way up. And so I think from a lot of those situations, we need to find ways to mentor people that are involved in other spots. I mean, I mentioned it earlier in our discussion here that, you know, one of the things a lot of us talk about is how do we get better representation for females and minorities in executive leadership positions in our industry. And one of the ways we can do that is to find those talented individuals and where they are. And what we believed in one of our theories was that a lot of them are, you know, attracted to the marketing portion of what we do. Now, certainly they need to grow their skills and have a much more broader set of responsibilities. But we really felt like from a leadership in the NACMA board, you know, how can we help those people understand, navigate the industry, take those next steps, because they absolutely have the ability to be athletic directors. I believe that in my heart. But they may not quite have the pathway or the mentorship or the skill set right now. But years from now, can we help them develop those skills? And down the road, if we can help more of them get into those positions of leadership, they're going to bring people up along with them and understand the value of what that can be. Now, is that going to change overnight? Certainly not. But over time and years, I believe that if we can do a better job developing these professionals, I see that changing.
I'm not asking you to be like a cultural researcher here or a cultural expert, but what do you think is behind the belief that you just stated of marketing maybe being more attractive to minority administrators throughout the industry? Are there any sort of inflection points you can point to there and say, this is why?
That's a great question. I wish I had enough data and did enough time to dive into that to give you an intelligent answer, Matt. I certainly just look at the data points in terms of when we got together and listed, you know, in our minds, the 75 best marketing assistant ADs in marketing in the country. You know, over 40% of those were minorities or females. I don't know if you were to do that in other areas whether you would get those same results. Now that may be a one-off. I just don't know enough. But I do think that over time we've got to look at all the different pockets of folks and how they get their start in the industry, because there's so many different stories out there of how someone gets their first shot or what they're attracted to. But to me, we've got to be more intentional about trying to find where those great talented individuals are and help them along. And if that's in marketing, great. If that's in academic support, great. If that's in compliance, you know, wonderful. I think that there's so many talented people in our business out there, and we can, I think, from a leadership standpoint, do a better job trying to find where they are and help them along.
And that's today's One Question, brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996. One Question is designed to give D1 Ticker subscribers valuable insights on how executive leaders in college athletics think about key issues on their respective campuses, in their departments, or within their leagues and conferences. One Question is brought to you by Turnkey Search, a top industry search firm since 1996.